does innovation contribute to the success of a business? If you've been wondering what all the hubbub is around innovation, stay tuned. This video is for you. First, we're going to look at how there's even innovation in nature and how business actually mimics nature. Next, we'll discuss what innovation actually is. It's more than a buzzword. And then lastly, we'll look at different ways that you can innovate in your business. So let's talk about nature first, because there's something called biomimicry, which is basically this discipline where people find ways to solve business problems looking at nature. But first, let's just look at nature as a whole. Nature is full of innovation and cycles. Now, I live in Houston, Texas, and Houston's an exciting city where the ocean comes on land every other year and tries to kill us, right? But that's part of a natural cycle. And if you've ever gone into like the Caribbean and you've seen the islands after a hurricane, obviously our hearts hurt for the people that are there, our family, our friends, but you notice what happens to nature, how it tears down the trees, how it kind of cleanses it out. But then they grow up and you have stronger trees, you have stronger plants, you have new animals. So it starts new life. Same thing with fires when you go into California and you see that there's certain types of seeds that only open after being burnt in a fire. And so in nature, this cycle of innovation is necessary because if not, you wouldn't get new life. People are born, people grow. Unless you're me, I stayed pretty small, didn't grow too much past elementary school. But you grow, you get older, you learn things, you procreate, and you die. No matter what all those anti-aging creams say, we're still on our way out here. But the point is this. There's cycles in nature, and it's necessary for life to continue on. And in a business, innovation is just as necessary. So when you think about a business, oftentimes we want to build this thing and we want it to just cruise indefinitely. Like if we had our way, we'd just say, we just want to create this thing, everyone's going to love it, and we're just going to sell it as is forever. There is no business on earth that operates that way. Even if you think about things like gasoline that have been around for quite a while, that business has had to adapt quite a bit over the years. And now we're seeing things like EV and solar and all these other things coming into play as well, right? And so when it comes to business, we have to understand that everything that operates in nature, everything that exists as part of a cycle. There is nothing we can think of that is indefinite. And the same thing goes for our business. And so if we don't want our business to die, we have to give it this extra pep of something different. We have to pull it through so that it's going through a new cycle. We have to make sure that it's turning into a slightly new thing that's better suited for the world as things change around it. So what is innovation? Ideally, and this is coming from the perspective of a futurist, innovation is taking things that you're already doing, or maybe even things that you're not doing yet, and doing them better. It's a way to solve a problem, but in a new way, in a way that's creative. You can't have innovation without creativity. They're brother and sister, they go together. And so what happens is now we live in a world where there's so much change. Some people think of innovation as just basically spray and pray method. You just come up with a bunch of ideas and you just implement a bunch of things and you see what works. That's fractured innovation. And really, innovation should solve a problem. It should make a business better. It should help clients fulfill their needs more easily. It should help your team be more efficient. No matter what, it should serve a purpose. So just creating new for the purpose of new, that's not real lasting innovation. When you think of innovation, it can help us scale our businesses as well. So for instance, let's say that you have a business and you're looking to scale by getting more customers. Well, there might be things that you can do in the way that you operate, the way that you market, or even in the product or service that you offer that serves a larger group of people. That is innovation that'll help you in that way in acquiring customers. So for instance, maybe you innovate just who you market to. Maybe in the past you stayed in one particular state or one particular area and you start putting marketing dollars towards other states as well, and maybe even tweak the way your product is packaged or sold so it also fits the demographic of those locations. That's a simple innovation. I don't mean to minimize the effort taken, but it's not like you had to completely reinvent the business to make that happen. But that's a way to innovate to get more customers. Another thing that you can do is you can use innovation to create more products. Now, when you create more products, obviously you have the ability to sell more to existing clients and customers, or even whiten your base. So maybe you have the ability to create baking soda toothpaste. Maybe an innovation is tweaking that recipe a little bit so that you have now baking soda deodorant. Now everyone has the cream deodorants. Maybe they're really just putting a modified version of your toothpaste on their armpits. I don't know, but that's a form of innovation, right? It's creative. You're solving a problem. And again, that's one way to create more products. Another way to innovate is to find the existing products you already have and without changing them much, find greater uses for them. So I gave an example in one of my other videos of the Slinky. The Slinky was actually created as a nautical tool to basically stabilize equipment as a boat was moving. And one day as someone was fixing something on a ship, it kind of came off its place and it went downstairs the way we all enjoy watching Slinkies go downstairs. And someone was like, you know what, this will be a good toy. Slinky! Sometimes just taking the things we already have and finding a new and creative way to use them. If you have children or babies, you know babies will take things from around the house and they'll pretty much misuse them or do weird things with them. It's kind of like that, opening up that area of creativity where you're saying to yourself, how can we use this in another way? We have all kinds of inventions from AfroTurf to Play-Doh that were all created for completely different reasons, but were repackaged and remixed for a new purpose. Now we're gonna pause just a moment as we're talking about innovation for me to ask you a question. Have you already subscribed to this channel? If you haven't, take just a second, go ahead and subscribe right now so you don't miss out on other juicy and fun videos. Let's talk about another reason to innovate. And it's something that doesn't come up in a lot of conversations, but it's still pretty important. We want to make sure that our team members stay excited about the work that they do. Now, you probably know some people that they've been doing the same job forever and they're perfectly happy doing it the exact same way. They don't want anything to change. They just want to be in there doing things the way that they've been doing them. I think a good example of that would be how we perceive, not necessarily what's true, the U.S. Postal Service. When we see people in the front and it just seems like it's kind of in this locked period of time where it seems like it's been working the same way for a few decades now. I'm not saying that's actually what happens behind the scenes, but that's the appearance, right? But we know people in companies that actually are that way. And when you bring in new innovative ideas, they fight you on it, right? And a lot of that has to do with cognitive biases and issues around neuroplasticity. Whenever it's time to have a human do something differently, when they've been doing it the same way for a long period of time, it's very, very hard to get them to be open, not just open to doing it, but to remember to do things differently because now they've built in this muscle memory, right? We know that we have people that don't want change, but we also know that some of our best team members are those that are excited about change. They're looking for new things. They're looking for new challenges. You cannot keep people that have that type of attitude if things don't change. They get excited about innovations. They get excited about new things because it creates new opportunities, new ways of thinking, new challenges. It keeps things exciting. And so creating innovation within your organization is not just about creating chaos around something new, but actually giving your people a new purpose and something new to focus on. And it can actually bring teams together as they find ways to tackle new challenges and implement this new innovative technology, way of thinking, or products that you've already developed. So going back to those people who love change and love challenges, one of the things that I did was I developed an assessment with a group of data scientists as well as industrial psychologists. And it's called the PACE assessment. And PACE stands for the different types of personality types that we created around attitudes towards change. And we think about one of the personality types that most companies are hiring for right now is the P in PACE. And that's the person who's the pioneer. They're always looking for what's new. They're always excited about what's coming down the pipeline. They're bringing in new ideas, new technologies. In fact, sometimes we have to slow them down a little bit because all of their ideas are not necessarily implementable or practical or pragmatic. But the point is that if you're looking to bring in those creative types, those people that are going to keep you cutting edge, they have to already see that you're an organization that's somewhat cutting edge. So it sounds like this really weird catch-22, because if you're part of an organization that historically has not been known for a great deal of innovation, it's harder to get people in who want to participate in that creative change because they don't see you as an institution that would be open to it. So if you're wanting new talent, if you're wanting new blood, you have to look like the type of organization that would actually attract them. Speaking of attracting things to you, if you're watching this video, it's because you're interested in having a more strategic and positive future. You'll notice in the description of this video, there's a link to download my Future Ready Playbook. This playbook is chock full of ideas and activities that'll help you start planning for the future in a more strategic way, whether we're talking about your personal future, your professional future, or even your organization. If you haven't already, download it right now.